Sri-Charanarvindam Vande Guru-Charanarvindam Sakshadharitena samasta shastrai Ruktastatha bhavata eva sadabhi Sakshadharitena samasta shastrai Ruktastatha bhavata eva sadabhi Eva Tasya Vande Guru Charanarvindam To Prabhu Priya Eva Tasya Vande Guru Charanarvindam Samsara Dhamanalaliya Loka Pranaya Padina Ghana Ghanatyam Shakalan Gunarnavasha Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, and welcome to the Saturday program of the reading and discussions of Bhagavad-gītā from the original 1972 Bhagavad-gītā As It Is, written by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupāda, the Founder-Ācārya of the Krishna Consciousness movement, which is a great movement to spread the teachings of Lord Chaitanya for the benefit of the conditioned souls lost in this Kali Yuga environment that we're in. And we're all experiencing it in our own lives, how Kali Yuga is raging forward with all of its illusion that we are this body, that we are important, that we have so much to do. But actually, the only thing we have to do is prepare for leaving the body by practicing Krishna consciousness, which is yoga, the yoga of the Supreme Lord. And that yoga is bhakti yoga. No other yoga is effective as in this age. And Lord Chaitanya taught us that the only way is through the chanting of the holy names of Krishna, which have been delivered to us from Srila Prabhupada, our bona fide spiritual master. And recently there's been this unfortunate situation that's evolved in the movement that he started, the ISKCON movement, where another prominent so-called guru, leader in that mission, has fallen down. Is it something new? No. This has been going on since the days of Keith Ham in New Vrindavan. And he not only fell down, he fell down into the lowest levels of behavior. He even induced his membership to commit terrible crimes and murder. And yet people think this guru system is bona fide. This elected guru system is bona fide. This is quite astonishing how stupid people could be. Really not intelligent at all. And I was looking at a post. I try not to spend too much time on social media, but I do look at it to keep current with what's going on in the minds of people, because when you write something down, it reveals your state of mind. It really does. And there's this devotee, Krishna Keshava, and he is was a disciple of Giriraj. And appears that he's been a devotee for quite a long time. And he was originally became initiated by Jayatirtha, of all people. And that was a disaster for him. So he wrote this comment, and I wanted to sort of read it to you. Although I've been through this repeat spectacle 3 times now, he says, it's still sad and disappointing. No kidding. This time around, I'm a little forthright. I've had enough, he goes. Okay, so he's finally figured it out through his confusion. I think he was in this confusion because he wanted to be, but then you get your hand in the fire, you get burnt so many times. I'll carry on as I've done for the last few years. Keep a safe distance, he goes. Okay. He's not seeking out the truth, but he's confused, very confused. There is truth. There's truth here at the Prabhupada Disciples Association. There is truth in the Hare Krishna Society. Yes, there is, because of how we present the philosophy according to Prabhupada's original teachings, and we critically study it. But he's not interested. No. Seems that many people aren't interested. Why? Because it's anarchy. They're interested in what they think is right. They're on the platform of mental speculation, mental concoction. And this just keeps going on. So he says this I thought was the most startling point, Niresh. I thought this was the most, I'm going to broaden my outlook to appreciate different mats. He goes, I'm going to broaden my outlook to appreciate different mats, sanghas, sadhus, faiths, and people who care. That's his conclusion. He was already bewildered before, and now he's more bewildered than he was under these fake gurus. He's worse now. Panchagoda, what do you think of that? So instead of becoming Krishna conscious, he's become totally deluded in this pursuit of truth. And he's ready to go to the different mats, like the Gaudiya mat, where Prabhupada has emphatically told us, do not be involved with these God brothers of mine. Do not follow them. Their activities destroyed a great movement, which was the movement of Bhaktisiddhanta, His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada. It was destroyed by them. And this ISKCON group, yes, has become Gaudiya Math Part 2. Pirangelo. Gaudiya Math Part 2. Stay away from them. Association is very important, to pick the proper association. Even your parents used to tell you when you're growing up, don't associate with these people that smoke cigarettes. Well, why, Mom and Dad? Because you'll start smoking cigarettes, and I don't want you to, because it's bad for your health. Associate with these people and you'll become contaminated. And we've seen it. You associate with these people from the ISKCON group and you will become confused, guaranteed. And this is going on. And look at this Prabhu. Even worse is what's happened to him. And do you think there's karma for this? Most definitely. It is not that you can just do anything that you want, represent yourself as a fake guru, affect the lives of other people, and then you expect that you're going to make advancement in spiritual life? No, you won't. There is karma, very serious karma, and we're not going to discuss that today, the reactions. But my point is, stay away from the ISKCON group. Do not go near them. They will contaminate you. And we've had so many different examples of that, even with our organization. It's not an institution, but we're an association. We've had so many examples of people that have been involved with different Ritvik groups, with Prabhupada Nuga groups, with different Gaudiya Math groups, who were godbrothers of ours, yes. And they're confused as well. Because spiritual life is precise, exact, like the edge of a sword. Very precise. And if you deviate even one little bit, you'll become bewildered. And so we have to be very careful. Don't do it. And tell other people without fear, don't do this. You'll be sorry, because this will be the cause of your demise. Here's someone pure. No ISKCON guru is bona fide. They're not. They're not, because they're following a system that was introduced into Prabhupada's movement after his departure by some ambitious people who were our godbrothers for profit, adoration, and distinction. Yes, they were. And there is no question, Pirangelo, that this wasn't the case. And I especially, and my godbrother Yaśodā, have practical experience dealing with them. When I was in Toronto, Pirangelo, just so you know, we had bought the biggest temple in North America for Srila Prabhupada. And so Prabhupada had sent me a letter, said, it's a topmost triumph, you've got this for Krishna. After Prabhupada left, just saying the facts, I was the chairman for the temple presidents worldwide, elected by my peers in Mayapur in 1978. And Pirangelo, I was invited to be the first person who was not a GBC member to sit in a GBC meeting in Mayapur in 1978. I sat between Bhavananda and Bhagawan. Oh, wow. I thought it was a great thing. You know, it was positive. We were very committed to the mission. So like that, we had exposure, and everybody knew, all these GBC members, they knew who I was, of course, because I was there in their meeting, first time. And so Hansaduta became my friend, Bhagawan became my friend, Tamal Krishna became my friend, Satsrup became my friend. All of them were looking for opportunity to expand their kingdoms. And guess who came to my to our temple in Toronto after that meeting. There was a procession of them that were flying into Toronto to meet us and see what we had been doing. What for? To recruit us into their zone. Personal ambition. And I saw it firsthand. It was tragic. There was Gopal Krishna was biting to become a guru. In fact, I was involved, Pure Angelo, in politicking with the GBC to make him a guru. And Bhagawan flew from, we were having so much trouble with Kirtananda. He was so offensive to everyone. He had destroyed the Buffalo Temple. He was trying to get the Toronto Temple shut down. He called the Toronto Temple atrocious. Prabhupada, in a letter to his disciples, Prabhupada had sent a letter, it's a topmost triumph. He sent a letter, it's atrocious. That person, unfortunate, confused, very, very secretive, deviant of the Sankirtan mission of Lord Chaitanya, deep. Oh, how many people know that? Well, some of us do. This is the case. Yeah, none of them are bona fide gurus. Name someone. Shivaram? Radhanath? None. Go down the list. If they're still in the movement, they're in their own movements, they're in their own thing. Let me just finish up. I'm sorry you got me going on this, and I apologize. It's interesting to note, Panchagoda, think about it. There was a recent situation about a year ago in Mayapur with a guy, Bhaktivedanta. Now, not to get into the details, he fell down to, pedophilia and things like that, really bad. So he finally got removed from Mayapur. Yeah, and now he's in Finland or something. Do we think about him much? No. We don't think about him much. As time gradually moves forward, we forget about these things, but they're still there. And these people are still being protected, and they carry on, even though Interpol's looking to arrest him now. So this particular situation is pretty much out of control, and it's a real tragedy to the mission of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda, and to all of the sincere followers of his mission and the members of the Prabhupada Disciples Association and the Hare Krishna Society. It's a real tragedy. We're talking about it, we're discussing it, because it's the latest and the greatest story to prove that what we're saying is true by their actions, not by ours. We're not perfect, but they are fakes. So we'll move forward now. Thank you very much for attending again today. And I wanted to say, don't forget that we have changed the Wednesday meeting of Chaitanya Charitamrita reading to Thursday. And I noticed on our intro that it says Wednesday. We haven't had anybody that's capable of switching these slides right now. We're going to work on that so they're more correct. And some people are getting in touch with me and saying, well, I haven't been coming to the Thursday group meeting, and it has been a bit of a disruption. So we apologize for that. It's really out of our hands. It's just with the decisions of other people, and we're just trying to adapt to it. So this is Saturday, March 26th. I wanted to read this again for us because I thought it was very profound. Here's the actual handwriting script of Srila Prabhupada in his diary. There is one online, but it's not quite the same without the seeing the writing of Prabhupada. But it is online, the diary. You can go on prabhupadbooks.com and read the diary there. So it's Saturday, March 26th. Sunrise was 5:53 a.m. And go to that, Rupesh, go to the Yeah, there, please bring it up a little closer. Thank you. Sunset was 6:19 p.m. and moonset was 1:18 p.m. as Shasti. Today, when I came back from Dr. Mishra's apartment at 1 p.m., I saw my window on the door broken. And entering the door, I saw my tape recorder, typewriter, and book bag stolen, book bags. So what obviously they took Bhagavatams, tragically. A separate note is written in this connection. At 2 p.m., Mrs. Loblam came to take me to ashram. That's Mishra's ashram. And I went there. The whole thing was upset. Yes, his room was upset. Of course, he was upset. But Prabhupada didn't demonstrate it, as you'll see as we read forward, as a main focal point. He just decided to carry on. I purchased one bottle of sour salt, 30 cents, and there was no income that day. So a real sad day. But it didn't stop him at all. Sunday, March 27th, sunrise 5:51 a.m., sunset 6:20 p.m., and moonset 11:18 Saptami. Today, whole day, I was in the ashram, and I came back in the evening at 6:30 p.m. At 9 in the night. Dr. Mishra, Mrs. Jones, Mrs. Ella, Miss Yolanda, and others came to see the condition of my room. All of them are of the opinion that the superintendent has a hand in this mischief. I spent the night at the studio 501. One Mr. Howard of 71 Street became acquainted with me, and he appears to be a good friend. So Prabhupada's taking shelter since his office, his office had been broken into. He had no security, so he went to stay with Mishra at the 501 ashram. On Sunday, March 28th, sunrise was 5:49 a.m. Sunset was 6:22 p.m. Noon set at moonset at 9:29 p.m. Astami. Today I went to see the landlord with Dr. Mishra and Mrs. Jones. The lady manager is already informed of the incident, and she told me that she had advised the superintendent to repair and fix up bars to secure the room. But he has not done anything till now, neither is he at his room. Let me consult my friends who may come in the evening and decide things what to do. One letter received from Sri Tirtha Maharaj. The state of the country is too much perplexing on account of the food situation. That's in India. And it is understood that loss of life and property in Bengal is beyond imagination. And things go on. Like in America this week, so many people are dying from these storms. Today I deposited in the bank $35. There were meetings in the evening. 5 ladies and gentlemen attended Bhagavad-gītā, discussed, and there was, again, no income. Yes. Tuesday, March 29th. We're going to read right up to the end of the month today. Right up to 31st of March. So sunrise 5:48 a.m., sunset 6:23 p.m., moonset 1:36 a.m. Navami. Today, I went to see the loft of Mr. Paul Murray. It is a big hall with kitchenette and shower, bath, etc. Can be utilized for meeting and Sankirtan purposes very, very nicely. Of course, it's in the Bowery, everyone. I do not know if Lord Chaitanya wants me to change my present place just to facilitate my missionary work. I do not mind my loss for the typewriter work. I do not mind my loss for and tape recorder. I am given the facility of my mission. If I'm given the facility of my mission work, It is Lord Chaitanya's grace that Robert today brought me an old typewriter, workable. He's going to try it out. And another gentleman, also Mr. Peter Blair of 161 West 75th Street, called me on Wednesday at 11:30 a.m. in his apartment. Number 3, income, one set of books sold for $16.80 in the form of a check. Wednesday, March 30th, 1966, Srila Prabhupada in New York. Sunrise, 5:46 a.m., sunset, 6:25 p.m., and moonset, 2:37 a.m. Dashami, today one letter received from Rockefeller Foundation denying any help for starting the International Institution for God Consciousness. Once again, rejected. Things stolen, nobody coming, and any outreach, everybody is declining any help. The landlord's office visited. They want clear 1 month's notice for vacating the room. So it has to be decided tonight in the meeting. So he's going to talk with his new people and get advice. Mr. Peter Blaine handed over to me one German machine, bold type, in very nice condition. There was no cover which has to be taken from him. Mrs. Rita Dunbroff is unable to help because the man she knew is dead and gone. Praying Lord Chaitanya for guidance whether I should go to Paul's loft in the Bowery. Deposited with the bank, check for $16. Evening meeting was held and 7 ladies and gentlemen attended. Seems to be getting this one same group coming by. No income today. It's settled that Sushman and Paul will come on Friday, April 1st, to take me to the loft. So he's already decided, I'm going to go. And step forward. Thursday, March 31st, sunrise, 5:44 a.m., sunset, 6:26 p.m., moon set, 3:28 a.m., and Ekadasi. 30 days clear notice served to S.N. Fletcher's landlord, registered letter, March 31st, 1966, no income. Amazing. Carrying on with all this difficulty, very little success. Expenditure, lots of trouble. Expenditure registration, 80 cents. Only 2 persons came today to meet me. 2. The landlord repaired the window according to his liking. It is not approved by me. The door is still insecure. So, such a difficult situation. And here we have a picture of Srila Prabhupada. And just see here, we're going to move to chapter 2, the Bowery. He's going to move out. He's going to go to Paul Murray's in the Bowery, where all the bums and drunks are. And April 1st through June 30th, 1966. So this will be the next section we'll review on tomorrow at our Srimad Bhagavatam reading and discussion. So thank you very much. We'll move forward with the chanting of Jaya Radha Madhava, and then our reading and discussion on the Bhagavad-gītā with His Grace Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu in California. Hare Krishna.
Rupesh, somebody there? Okay.
Sai. Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Pramad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavindra ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivas Adi Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Sri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Sam Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan ki jai. Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Navadvip Dham ki jai. Swami Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Ganga Mai ki jai. Jamuna Mai ki jai. Tulasi Devi ki jai. Bhakti Devi ki jai. Swami Bhaktivinoda ki jai. All glories to the assembled Lord. All glories to the assembled Lord. Thank you very much.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. O my Lord Sri Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, the all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Narayanam namaskritya. Narayanam namaskritya. Naram cheva narottamam. Naram cheva narottamam. Devim saraswatim vyasam. Devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayet. Tato jayam mudirayet. One should utter the means of conquest, Srimad Bhagavatam and Srimad Bhagavad-gītā, after offering respectful obeisances, 1, to the personality of Godhead, Narayana, 2, to the Nara-Narayana Rishi, who is the supermost human being, 3, to the Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, then 4, to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. From Srimad Bhagavatam 1-4. Welcome everyone to this reading and discussion on Srimad Bhagavad-gītā. As we do every week, we will read a few selected verses that were introduced by Srila Prabhupada himself in 1966 when he started his preaching mission in New York. These verses were specially chosen by Srila Prabhupada himself. Om Ajnana-timirandasya jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai shri-gurave namaha. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Sri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakada Mahyam Dadati Svapadantikam. When will Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada was established within this material world the mission to fulfill the desire of Lord Chaitanya? Give me shelter under his lotus feet. Vandeham Shri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavam Scha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Anvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakanvitam Scha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master and unto the feet of all Vaishnavas. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of Srila Rupa Goswami, along with his elder brother Sanatana Goswami as well as Raghunath Dasa and Raghunath Bhatta, Gopala Bhatta, and Srila Jiva Goswami. I offer my respectful obeisances to Lord Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, along with Advaita Acharya Gadadhar Srivas and other associates. I offer my respectful obeisances to Srimati Radharani and Sri Krishna, along with their associates Sri Lalita and Vishaka. E Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpati Gopeshar Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostuti. Oh, my dear Krishna, you are the friend of the distressed and the source of creation. You are the master of the gopis and the lover of Radharani. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. I offer my respects to Radharani, whose bodily complexion is like molten gold, and who is the queen of Vrindavana. You are the daughter of King Vrishabhanu, and you are very dear to Lord Krishna. Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindubhya evacha patitanam pavanibhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaham. I offer my respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, who can fulfill the desires of everyone, just like desire trees, and who are full of compassion for the fallen souls. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Again, this reading is being conducted from the original non-interpolated, non-edited 1972 Macmillan edition Bhagavad-gītā As It Is. All synonyms, translations, and purports by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda, Founder-Ācārya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, also known as the Krishna Consciousness Movement. Today we will be reading from chapter 11, text number 50. Sanjaya uvacha ityarjunam vasudevastatuktva svakam rupam darshayamasa bhuyah asvayamasa cha bhitamenam bhutva punaha somya vapur mahatma. Sanjaya uvacha. Sanjaya said, Iti thus, Arjunam unto Arjuna, Vasudevaha Krishna, Tata that way, Uktva saying, Svakam his own, Rupam form, Darshayamasa showed, Bhuyaha again, Asvayamasa also convinced him, Cha also, Bitam fearful, Enam him, Bhutva punaha becoming again, Saumya vapuhu beautiful form, Mahatma the great one. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Sanjaya said to Dhritarashtra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, while speaking thus to Arjuna, displayed his real four-armed form, and at last he showed his two-armed form, thus encouraging the fearful Arjuna. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. When Krishna appeared as the son of Vasudeva and Devaki, he first of all appeared as four-armed Narayana. But when he was requested by his parents, he transformed himself into an ordinary child in appearance. Similarly, Krishna knew that Arjuna was not interested in seeing a four-headed form of Krishna. But since he asked to see this four-headed form, next, he also showed him this form again, and then showed himself in his two-headed form. The word Saumya Vapuhu is very significant. Saumya Vapu is a very beautiful form. It is known as the most beautiful form. When he was present, everyone was attracted simply by Krishna's form. And because Krishna is director of the universe, he just banished the fear of Arjuna, his devotee, and showed him again his beautiful form of Krishna. In the Brahma Samhita, it is stated that only a person whose eyes are smeared with the ointment of love can see the beautiful form of Sri Krishna. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Sugurave Namaham Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Bhakti Siddhanta Shishyaya Bhaktivedanta Namine Prasannaya Prashantatma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Bhagavad Vandanam Khadyam Guru Vandana Purvakam Kshiram Sarkar Yuktam Kadati Visheshataham Adadana Srinam Danteridam Yachi Punah Punaham Srimadrupa Padam Bhoja Dhulishyam Janma Janmani Amsho Bhagavatosmyaham Sadadasu Asmi Sarvatam Tat Kripa Pikshako Nityam Tat Prishta Satkaromisvam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrindam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Several times in his writings, Srila Prabhupada has quoted the Brahma Samhita explaining the position of Krishna. Ishvaraha Parama Krishnaha Sachidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govindaha Sarva Karana Karanam. That Krishna is the original personality of Godhead, the cause of all causes. He has an eternal bliss and form. Also in the same Brahma Samhita, Lord Brahma is explaining that this form of Krishna, Ramadi Murti Shukala Niyaminatistan, Nana Vatara Makarad Bhuvaneshu Kintu, Krishna Swayam Samababat Paramapumanyo, Govinda Maripurusham Tamaham Bhajami. That all of these various incarnations, Rama, Nrsimha, Varaha, these forms are all the expansions of Lord Krishna. And Krishna is Krishna Swayam, the original personality of Godhead. Now, Srila Prabhupada several times explains there is no difference between the form of Narayana or Vishnu and Krishna. It is all Vishnu Tattva. But for the matter of differentiation, we see that the Acharyas in the Brahma Gaudiya Sampradaya, such as Rupa Goswami, Jiva Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Baladev Vidyabhusana, and others, have explained in their writings that the form of Krishna, this Saumya Vapu, which is described here, This two-handed form is the original personality of Godhead. Now, in order to understand this form of Krishna, one has to hear from a pure devotee of Krishna. This is a very important point. The other day, a devotee sent me a message how he was distributing books, and one person of a very atheistic nature was not very inclined to hear about Krishna. He was atheist. So some way or other, this devotee convinced this person to take a book, small book, and to offer something. And the person said, well, I have no money with me. He says, well, offer something. Go there in the bushes and offer a leaf. Go pick up a fruit from the tree. So the person went into the bushes and grabbed some leaf from a tree to offer it. This was meant as his offering to Krishna, although he didn't quite comprehend what he was doing. But simply by this offering, because it was done in an innocent, simple way, he got some benefit. He got the connection with a pure devotee. Some way or other, he became connected with a pure devotee. Srila Prabhupada based his entire society, the whole purpose of the entire society which he founded, which he established, was to engage people in the service of Krishna. It was never meant for an individual self-aggrandizement to become famous or rich or to become popular or a reputed devotee. No, this was not the purpose. And Prabhupada was concerned because he realized when you preach to people who are in the mode of passion and ignorance, who have no knowledge of basic fundamental Vedic principles, sometimes they may misunderstand, as it has been seen so many times before. Now, it is not our intent here in this program to criticize or find fault with any devotee, even devotees who may have experienced problems. But what we do not like to see, and that no serious devotee should like to see, is the teachings, the original teachings, to be distorted for the self-aggrandizement of an elitist class of people. And this is a very important point. Those of you who have carefully read the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's the pastime of Lord Chaitanya cleaning the temple in Jagannath Puri. Now, this pastime is especially important because in the purport, Srila Prabhupada gives a list of so many unwanted desires, unwanted weeds that a devotee, a practitioner, a sadhaka, has to be very careful to clear out. And Prabhupada explains, if one is not careful to weed out these nonsense desires, one may become victimized, and he may want to become a reputed devotee or an avatar. Now think about this for a moment. Why do we come to Krishna? Why do we approach the pure devotee? In the material world, everybody, almost to no exception, is influenced and victimized by his desire for sense gratification, name, fame, power, money, prestige, sex, position, profit, adoration, distinction. But in spiritual life, these things are not very desirable. As a matter of fact, they're so undesirable that somebody may be completely misled in his practice of Krishna consciousness if he becomes entangled with these things. That is why when we carefully study and read Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction to Rupa Goswami in the Madhya Lila of Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter 19, there are so many warnings that are given. There are so many warnings that are given by Srila Prabhupada. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself says the devotee, the gardener, should be very careful about the upashakas, the weeds that come up in the beginning of the practice of devotional service. Those weeds are many. Just like when you grow a garden, you have to be careful to take the weeds out. If you don't take the weeds out, it is going to smother. Just like here in this area of California, there is a little lake down the hill. It's a small lake, and around the lake there is a section where they have different berries, blackberries. Now berries, these blackberries, they have many, many thorns, very dangerous thorns. And if you're not careful, when you go close to them, you will get cut. It will tear your clothes apart, tear your skin apart. And there's different other flowers that grow there. But over the course, these blackberries will smother. They will cover over all the other wildflowers. So if similarly, if one is very careful, or if one is not careful in the practice of devotional service, these weeds will grow. And Prabhupada gives a warning that if one is not careful, is not fortunate to receive the Bhakti-lata beej from the spiritual master, instead he cultivates the social beej, the political beej, or the philanthropic beej. Now let's think about that for a moment. As a devotee, our only desire should be to serve Krishna. But we have practically seen what happens if one is not careful. If one does not cut out these weeds, then this desire for social position, political position, so-called philanthropic activities will come up. These have nothing to do with bhakti. They do not. So a devotee has to be intelligent, has to be very careful, just like the gardener has to be careful to weed out those unwanted plants that come up. Otherwise, one may be thinking that he's practicing bhakti, but he may be practicing bhukti. Bhakti means loving devotional service. Bhukti means sense enjoyment. One should not confuse the both. And sometimes it may look almost the same, but the reality is that it's not. We all have heard about the great Jayananda. Jayananda was such an exalted person, and even when he lived among us, he was a little older than all of us. He came to the movement. He had studied mechanical engineering, and he was always busy repairing vehicles, doing all kinds of service for the temple, gathering supplies for the Sunday feast, going on Sankirtan, distributing back to God. He was constantly busy, always encouraging devotees, being very kind to devotees. So we never quite understood the greatness of this person, the exalted position of this person, until 1977, when he departed at the end of April, beginning of May, and Prabhupada confirmed that he was a pure devotee, and that Prabhupada said that he has gone back to Godhead. Prabhupada said his picture should be on the Rath Yatra card. His disappearance day should be celebrated. As a matter of fact, if we look on the Vaishnava calendar, Jayananda departed one day before the appearance of Lord Narasimha. Very auspicious. I was fortunate to be in Prabhupada's room in Vrindavan when Prabhupada was discussing with his godbrother, O.B.L. Kapoor, who is a very nice devotee, disciple of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who used to come and visit Srila Prabhupada every time he came to Vrindavan. And on this occasion, Srila Prabhupada was discussing how he had heard that Jayananda departed, and he said he went back to Godhead. And Prabhupada quoted that verse from Bhagavad-gītā in chapter 4, text number 9, Janma karma chami divyam evam yo veti tattvataha tyaktva deham punarajanma naiti mam iti so Arjuna. For one who knows the nature of my appearance and activities he does not come back to this material world again. And Prabhupada started to cry. And he said he went back to God. And Prabhupada was very proud to have such an exalted disciples of Jayananda. But what made Jayananda so special? He had no personal desire for name, fame, power, position, prestige, nothing. His life was simply service, selfless service. This is very remarkable. This was a very nice example, because several times we are asked, well, have there ever been any examples in Prabhupada's lifetime of a devotee who went back to Godhead? Yes, there is. Jayananda was such an example. Sudama Swami was another example. So it is not that one should be discouraged if there are difficulties. One should focus on the path without personal motivation, without personal desire, and go on with the chanting of Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu. And I thought it was very interesting when you mentioned about the person that was distributing a book, and the person that they were distributing to them had no money. But at the same time, he suggested he offer a leaf. Okay, it was something to do. And better than nothing, because service to Krishna is inexhaustible. That means that any service that you render in this life, at the end of this life, you'll carry on and continue to serve in your next life. What to speak if someone chants the holy name once? They get more benefit from chanting once than any other kind of religious activity they may conduct in this lifetime, because of the transcendental nature and potency of Krishna's name. So Prabhupada always encouraged us to chant our rounds every day without fail, so that we can get the maximum benefit from that chanting. And it's inexhaustible. It will never go away. The benefit will always be with you. Very interesting, because life is very short. Some people think it lives on, but you don't. It was interesting to note today, Mother Rochisha, I'm looking at a bookmark that was sent to me recently from our godbrother in Montreal. There it is there. Our godbrother Aprakrita. Now, somehow or other, he sent this to me a couple of months ago. It was, I have all these other bookmarks that he made for me, 500 of them, these bookmarks. Okay, and he did these specially for me and sent them a couple of years ago. But then out of the blue, he sent this in the mail. And it says, "For my very good friend in Hamilton." Very interesting. Of course, I'm going to treasure this, because he also exemplified this simple surrender to Srila Prabhupada as a devotee, disciple. Simple. I had the chance, you were speaking about Jayananda Prabhu, Yaśodā-nandana. Very inspirational, by the way. It always seems to be ever fresh for me to hear about Jayananda. And, back in 1976, I did go to the New York Rath Yatra where he had led the procession, one of the carts. And there's so many beautiful pictures of him. And then after that, we went ahead, we had different devotees in Toronto that were very inspired to spread Rath Yatra throughout North America. There was a devotee who's still alive in Philadelphia, Devi Deva Prabhu. He was in Toronto. And we had, as you know, Murli Krishna Prabhu from Buffalo, who came and worked with his brother to help us with the Toronto Temple administration and inspiration, let's say. And so Devi Deva was in touch with Jayananda by phone when he was not in good health and seeking advice from him in Toronto, because the goal was for us to, with the other devotees, that was their motive, was to create a traveling Rath Yatra, because it was difficult for every temple to build carts. So the idea was, there was a devotee in Montreal, I forget his name, you might know it, Richisha Devi Dasi, but he was expert in construction, so they went ahead and constructed these carts. And they were mobile carts that could be used in different temples to assist the local administration from incurring the cost of building the cart. Like, for example, in Toronto in 1973, we tried to build the carts and they didn't run. They broke down. We had to take the deities in a car on Rath Yatra procession. That was the best we could do. So this solution came up from our group to build these carts and create this traveling Rath Yatra program, which is now transformed into what's called the Festival of India, which is being run by our godbrother Madhuha Prabhu. And he's been doing that. I just got his newsletter the other day, and he's telling about, they had 20 festivals this year that they supported. Of course, I've always spoken to him about it. If you're making devotees, who are you making them for? When you promote these festivals of India, and it has nothing to do with Rath Yatra, it's just staged events with cultural dancing and distribution of vegetarian food, not prasadam. There's no prasadam when you don't follow the rules and regulations of Krishna consciousness according to Srila Prabhupada. You don't do it. It doesn't happen. It's not real. So Jayananda was a great inspiration when I spoke to him on the phone. That's the point. Devi Deva clicked me on the phone, and I had a chance to speak with him on a few occasions. And like you said, Yaśodā, there was no grandiose speech by him. He was very humble, low-key, like a Prakrita Prabhu, and other great devotees of the Lord who do not make show bottle presentation of Krishna consciousness, but at the same time, they are committed to devotional service to Srila Prabhupada and the protection of his legacy. And that is the essence of this philosophy. There's nothing more important than that. Absolutely. Because the protection of the legacy protects the truth. And the truth must be protected in every circumstance. And in this way, people will not be misled. Yes, misled. As you know, many of you have been attending the program, and I did switch. I finished the reading of Chaitanya Charitamrita, and then I thought, well, what should I read? I went on to the Gita, and I'm finishing up the Gita, surprisingly. It's only taken a little while. I came to a very interesting purport that I wanted to read to all of you in chapter 17, text 28. That's the Bhagavad-gītā As It Is, chapter 17, text 28. And I'm going to read the purport. I want you all to very carefully hear Prabhupada explaining how to practice Krishna consciousness in order to get out of this material world. Text 28, translation. But sacrifices, austerities, and charities performed without faith in the Supreme are non-permanent. O son of Prita, regardless of whatever rites are performed, they are called asat and are useless both in this life and the next. Useless. Very interesting. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Rupesh, if you could bring it up, thank you. They are called useless and are asat and are useless both in this life and the next. Purport. Anything done without the transcendental objective, whether it be sacrifice, charity, or penance, is useless. Without transcendental, therefore, in this verse, it is declared that such activities are abominable. Everything should be done for the Supreme in Krishna consciousness. Without, check this, Panchagoda, without such faith and without the proper guidance, there can never be any fruit. Everything that the Guru speaks is Shastra, Prabhus. Shastra. In all the Vedic scriptures, faith in the Supreme is advised. In the pursuit of all Vedic instructions, the ultimate goal is the understanding of Krishna. No one can obtain success without following this principle. Therefore, the best course is to work from the very beginning in Krishna consciousness under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, not a bogus teacher. That is the way to make everything successful, period. In the conditioned state, people are attracted to worship demigods, ghosts, or yakshashas like Kuvera, or illicit gurus, Prabhus. The mode of goodness is better than the mode of passion and ignorance, but one who takes directly to Krishna consciousness is transcendental to all three modes of material nature. Although there is a process of gradual elevation, if one, by the association of pure devotees, takes directly to Krishna consciousness, that is the best way. And that is recommended in this chapter. To achieve success in this way, one must first find the proper spiritual master and receive training under his direction. Then one can achieve faith in the Supreme. When that faith matures in course of time, it is called love of Godhead, as in the case of Jayananda Prabhu and Aprakrita Prabhu. This love is the ultimate goal of the living entities. One should therefore take to Krishna consciousness directly. That is the message of this 17th chapter. And thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purports to the 17th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad-gītā in the matter of the divisions of faith. So carry on, everyone. Continue to study critically these books and understand exactly how to make advancement in Krishna consciousness and not follow a path which will bear no fruit. There will never be any fruit in the results from these other people that are misleading people in Krishna consciousness. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu, further if you could explain.
You are raising some very important points. Now, having said that, it should be mentioned that this week is very special because tomorrow on Sunday is the Vijaya Dashami. This is the day that Lord Ramachandra came back from Lanka, Sri Lanka, to Ayodhya, and everybody is worshiping Lord Rama. It is also the appearance day of the Acharya of our Sampradaya, Madhvacharya, who was born in Pajaka Kshetra near Udupi. So it is a very special day. And Monday, for those who follow the Mayapur calendar, it is Ekadasi. So two very special days coming up. It's an occasion of celebration. And as we know, Srila Prabhupada used to often explain that the pastime of Lord Ramachandra being banished to the forest, the Pandavas being banished in exile, Haridas Thakur being beaten in marketplace, and then there's Prahlad Maharaj, there's the pastimes of Prahlad Maharaj. There are so many things that seems very difficult to understand from our perspective. But Prabhupada commented in one letter, these things are arranged. It is the plan of the Supreme Lord. In other words, there is always a plan behind these activities that may seem difficult to understand for devotees in the neophyte condition. And one should not speculate and try to argue, oh, why Krishna allowed this? Why Krishna allowed that? There was one conversation with a disciple who went to Srila Prabhupada, asking Prabhupada why Krishna allowed different invasions of India by different armies of foreigners. And Prabhupada chastised him and said, you think Krishna is under your control? In other words, Prabhupada basically was looking at the situation from a very different perspective. A pure devotee is always in touch with Krishna. He is not bewildered by any incident. He is always 24 hours a day in touch with Krishna. We should always remember that. Hare Krishna.
Yes, it's true. There will be trouble. Panchagoda. I want to just briefly discuss what happened to us in Toronto back in the 70s. And there was some trouble. Actually, it was 80. We had a mortgage crisis and we could not get the building refinanced. And they put up a power of sale notice against the building. The church was going to be taken back by the owners. They had taken back a first mortgage for $250,000 and it came due. And there was some controversy, and at any rate, we were working with a large group of people, largely from the East Indian community at the time, because it was building a momentum with them. And I made a decision to go ahead and we would try to raise the Lakshmi to pay the temple off. Better to have no mortgage. And what happened was some people disagreed. We were very successful. We had a radiothon, Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu, on Chin Radio. And within 4 hours, we raised $75,000.
Wow.
So it was quite popular, quite a big deal. And we had loans from our Indian community, from different people and Western people, for $175,000. So we raised $250,000 from people that were trying to help support our missionary work. But it was not something that some people disagreed, didn't like, and they disagreed. No, you should go take another mortgage for $375,000. And I refused. I said no. Because I was in charge, Prabhupada had put me in charge of the protection of his temple, not mine. And they got mad. Guess what they did? They planted guns in the building. Our own God brothers took handguns, drilled them out, the serial numbers, put oil over them so there were no fingerprints, and hid them in the tower where Murli Krishna's office was. And guess what happened? They called the police. And the police came, 9 paddy wagons, and attacked the temple, found the guns. I was like, whoa. I still remember they came into my office. They threw the guns on my table. You say you have no guns? Look at these. I looked at the guns. It was terrible. Done by our own God brothers. Done by them. Is that trouble? It was big trouble. And it went on for many, many months. We had worked so sincerely to do something positive, And our own God brothers did that to try to destroy us and take over the temple. It was terrible. I can remember I was suffering tremendously from it. There were hundreds and hundreds of newspaper articles against us. It killed the fundraising drive. It killed everything. Interesting to note that the people that perpetrated it, 10 years later, 2 of them were murdered by handguns. And the police came to my house here. Oh, yeah, in Hamilton. I had left the movement. I just said, that's it. There was many more things that went on with Keith Ham and Kṛṣṇa, all this persecution and difficulty, stress, difficulty. So unfortunately, you know, it was intolerable for me to stay. And, you know, Maya entered into my life and everyone's life. When you're not encouraged, you're discouraged, and you're abused and punished by your own people. There's nothing worse than people that work with you that come and stab you in the back. There's nothing worse than that. That's why I have a real attitude towards people that are fault finders. I don't like them because I've been there. I've had machine guns pointed at my head because of my own God brother's abuse. So the point is, there will be difficulty. Yeah, we survived. We're carrying on. Everything's good. I'm not living in the past. And I don't care. Krishna will punish the people. I had proof, by the way, Panchagoda. I had one person who was one of the ringleaders came forward before his death and brought me all of the records in writing to prove that the people that did this were our own members. In writing. I still have them here upstairs. Yaśodā, I have a big file on it. Proof, solid proof. But who will find justice? Krishna will give us justice in due course. And there will be trouble when you spread Krishna consciousness. It's just been like that from time immemorial. And this is going on in the name of the Sankirtan movement, is to overcome all difficulty and keep chanting the holy names. We're going to move. I thought I'd give you that. Prabhu is a very little bit of insight from the past. And let's move forward with our friend in Dallas, Texas, Dharma Bhavana Prabhu, who's attending the program today. Maybe he could share some insights today. If he can get his camera on. Here. Yeah, okay, please.
Oh, wait.
Thank you, everyone.
Just a minute here.
This is all interesting. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, thank you. Really, really appreciate the class today, talking about Jayananda, the Bhakti Beach, how we have to be a gardener. And I thought I'd also just kind of review what you asked me last week or two about my book. I didn't really explain very well because we came back from vacation, long vacations, and I didn't have anything to do, no service. And I saw these documents, essays, papers that devotees had given me from their garages. And I started to write about these. Didn't have any idea to have a project, no idea to have a book at all. I just didn't have anything to do. I started writing. And somehow or another, devotees from Alachua, like Janava Mataji, told me, you have to write, if you're going to write about Prabhupada in Texas, you have to write about the Gurukuла and Prabhupada's coming and how we had problems and tried to solve the problems. And to make a long story short, I wanted to make sure, because there were some imperfect parts of my book, because I went through all the editors. Nobody had time. Nobody wanted to edit it. And then finally I found one editor from New York. And so I had to go with that. And it came out as best I could, but not perfect. I wanted to make at least two really important points for the book. And that is that, because when Prabhupada was here in Texas in the 1970s, we wanted to make the point that Prabhupada should not be blamed for any of the Gurukula abuses, because he was mostly in India trying to solve these things from a distance by writing letters. And the other point was that if we're going to discuss who is His Divine Grace, we wanted to make the point that Prabhupada is the direct and current link to the Sampradaya. And so at least that kind of definition would be there. And I talked about this, and therefore my book was not really about current times. It was about the 1970s, but the same kind of fundamental topics and understandings are the same as what we talk about, need to understand now. So that was just how I just wanted to make those couple of points here, because she asked me about that a few weeks ago. All right, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for that explanation. And these pastimes of Srila Prabhupada and their remembrance and the sharing of them is very valuable for all of us to hear, because in this way we get firsthand information about how things are. So there are always difficulties, yes, and we have to understand that this is the arrangement of Krishna, and this has been going on historically, even at the time of Lord Chaitanya. So we shouldn't be upset. We're not here to take revenge. We're here just to simply explain things. I think I see our Prabhu in New Jersey, Chaitanya Das. Prabhu, maybe you could share some insights today on the philosophy that's being discussed. Is it possible? Chaitanya.
Well, I'm actually traveling. I'm driving right now. Is it okay if you want to take up with another devotee? I apologize.
Okay, well, thank you for letting us know.
Sorry,
We
bro.
appreciate it. That's no problem. Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu, please, if you could further explain.
I want to read one or two statements from Srila Prabhupada about the Ramachandra Digvijaya ceremony. This is when Lord Ramachandra came back to Ayodhya after killing Ravana. That will be observed tomorrow. A very interesting statement from Srila Prabhupada in a letter on October 12th, 1975, October 12th, 1975, to one Swami Sahajananda. And Prabhupada says, there was only one Rakshasa at the time of Lord Ramachandra who did not care for the Lord and attempted to kidnap his wife. So he took away Maya Lakshmi from Narayana. The result was that he became ruined with his whole family and kingdom. In this age of Kali, there are a number of Ravanas deriding the godhood of Lord Krishna and Lord Ramachandra, and they will meet with the same result as it was done in the case of Ravana. Wow. And again, there is another letter from Srila Prabhupada on October 10th, 1968. October 10th, 1968. This is letter to Hamsaduta. Diwali ceremony can be observed in the temple by illuminating hundreds of candles in different parts of the temple and offering special prasad to the deity. This ceremony was observed by the inhabitants of Ayodhya, the kingdom of Lord Ramachandra, while Lord Ramachandra was out of his kingdom due to his 14 years banishment by the order of his father. His younger stepbrother Bharata took charge of the kingdom, and the day on which Lord Ramachandra took back the charge again from his brother and seated on the throne, this is observed as Diwali function. This is the original idea of Diwali and Deepavali. Deepavali means the same thing. Deepa means candle, and Bali means numerous. When numerous candles are lighted, it is called Deepavali. So this is very, very special day when Lord Ramachandra came back to his kingdoms. Then there's another interesting letter from Srila Prabhupada on April 3rd, 1968. April 3rd, 1968. Srila Prabhupada says, one thing you may inform all devotees, that Maya cannot touch a pure devotee. When you find a devotee is supposed in difficulty, it is not the work of Maya, but it is the work of the Lord by his personal internal energy. The Pandavas' tribulation is in so many ways. Lord Ramachandra's departure to the forest, his wife, the goddess of fortune, being kidnapped by Ravana, Lord Krishna's death being caused by the arrow of a hunter, Thakur Haridas being caned in 22 market, or Lord Jesus Christ being crucified are all acts of the Lord personally. We cannot always understand the intricacies of such incidences. Sometimes they are enacted to bewildered persons who are demons. You should therefore discuss in the Ishtagoshti from current reading matters from Bhagavad-gītā or Srimad Bhagavatam. We should only try to understand everything from the standard of devotional service. It is stated clearly in the Bhagavad-gītā that anyone who is 100% engaged in the service of the Lord is transcendently situated, and the influence of Maya has no more action on such body. The Lord and his pure devotees are always beyond the range of Maya's action, even though they appear like action of Maya. We should understand their action of Yoga Maya, or the internal potency of the Lord. Hare Krishna.
Very enlightening, this critical study of Prabhupada's instructions. Panchagoda in the Ukraine. You have your hand up. Prabhu, please.
Dear devotees, thank you so much for enlightening program today. I just wanted to proudly say a few words. We have several of Srila Prabhupada's murtis ready, and it became very beautiful. It's 12 inches high, and we already painted this. So we have just to show you.
Fabulous.
Yeah, and it looks like
beautiful.
Yeah, it looks like real Srila Prabhupada, not that strange
Beautiful.
ones that we can see in some Vrindavan shops or some temples. So it's a next step for us. So right now we're sewing clothes for him and getting ready first examples to be installed in homes of devotees. So what next? I'm gonna share some information with you, Vishwakarma Prabhu, and other devotees.
Please, thank you.
Yeah, and just to make this process like online, I brought few bead bags of that Mataji that is making. It
Yes.
has special braid or lace with Hare Krishna Mahamantra on it. We have it in Sanskrit, in English, and in Russian language also. And it's like different materials, this silk and wool and all other stuffs. So we have like few practical devotional services now running. So we'd like to produce books, but right now they are not letting us to sell any official original books. So this ISKCON group, they're banning us. So that's why we decided to make it a little bit different. First, we making our production, and then we are gonna print some books and sell it just maybe in some different groups.
Excellent. Very, very nice. Now, what we're going to do, Prabhus, is we'll figure out a system for having these available to people, and how the distribution. I know I want one of these deities for sure, and I'll be happy to donate. We'll figure out, whatever the fee is, so I can send my money. And if anybody else is interested, they can also purchase. We're still working out the details, Panchagoda, as you know. And but once we have the details, hopefully next week we can explain this to people, how they can support your book distribution program by the purchase of a murti of Srila Prabhupada. Those are very, very nice murtis. And you carry on when they're ready for distribution. We'll work out the logistics of it. And in this way, we can start to feed some Lakshmi to your efforts in Ukraine for the printing of Srila Prabhupada's unedited books in that language. I know there's a lot of trouble over there, so very, very enlivening to see that. And is Chaitanya Das, does he have his hand up? Is his phone working?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Just a quick
Yes,
comment
Prabhu.
I had. Please accept my humble obeisance, Bishop. But
Sure.
what I think many fail to realize is that Maya, just like Krishna has unlimited energies, Maya also has unlimited energies, and she comes in many different forms. And we think that because we're in the temple, the Maya will not attack us, or because we're in association of devotees, Maya will not attack us. We will always be tested till eternity, until we completely surrender. The Sharanagati is very much required, and even in devotee life, the association of devotees, Maya still attacks us, and that comes in many different forms. And so that was my some realization I had, that even though we think over chanting 16 rounds over discipleship, Prabhupada, but Maya will always be testing our faith. Srila Prabhupada's original instruction and his original teachings in his original books, and how much faith do you have? And does that, and the way you know Maya's attacking is because you're constantly in this pressure. Oh, maybe I should just give up and just be on my own. Maybe I should just not. There's too much risk, too much for me. I don't want to do all these things. Preaching requires a lot of a sacrifice, and if you're comfortable in the situation that you're in, that means you're not growing. The preaching activity is not going. It's not pleasing Srila Prabhupada what you are trying to do. If you're comfortable, if you have to be uncomfortable, we have to be comfortable in uncomfortable situation. So there's my just a few comments, 2 cents. I want to put it.
Yes, thank you for your comments. And it's very important, everyone, to realize that if you take shelter of devotional service under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master and the association of his disciples that are committed to that process, then you will feel happy. Like at our classes, for example, we have hundreds of examples, Panchagoda, of people telling us how blissful they feel coming to these classes, because it is hearing. Okay, we're not sitting in the temple room in some building, but this space in time is beyond time and space, because we are discussing the transcendental subject matters of Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad-gītā, and Chaitanya Charitamrita. And this is beyond time and space. People that are mundane, they can't understand it. Trouble will be there. Yes, in this material world. This is going on all the time. But the devotees realize they're not the body, they're the spirit soul, and they're the eternal servants of Krishna. Jivara Swarup Ahoy Krishnera Nitya Dasa. That is our identity. And birds of the same feather, Chaitanya Das, flock together. And have faith. Don't be discouraged by anything. Things have not disappeared. They've just become confused by some people who are motivated for the wrong reasons. And that is going on. And we read it today. It's very clear. So thank you, everyone, for attending today's program. Very much appreciated. Thank you, Panchagoda, for that enlivening look at the work you're doing in Ukraine under all difficulty. Congratulations to you and your colleagues. And we'll keep going. Thank you, everyone. We're going to move forward now with the chanting of Hare Krishna. Please stay on, everyone. Prabhupada's going to chant. It's a kirtan. Unfortunately, we're not together to chant, but we can chant along with Prabhupada as he plays the bongo and chants and leads us in the Hare Krishna mantra. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hari Bo.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Let us offer our respectful obeisances to all the assembled Vaishnava devotees. Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo namo namaham. I offer my respectful obeisances. We all offer our respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who can fulfill the desires of everyone, just like desire trees, and are full of compassion for the fallen souls. Thanks everybody for coming to this program. Thanks Vishwakarma Prabhu in Hamilton, Ontario, Bhakta Rupesh Prabhu in Mumbai in India with very wonderful management of the program, Panchagoda Prabhu in Ukraine, Chaitanya Prabhu in somewhere in his car, Krishna Katha in San Diego with his ever-present Srimad Bhagavatam and his firm dedication to some way or other get these book printed, Ruchicha Mataji in Montreal, Canada, Vijay Pandit in Italy, and everybody who has participated in this program. We thank you very much, and we invite you again to come tomorrow morning for Srimad Bhagavatam class at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, California time, corresponding to 10 a.m. Florida time and 10 a.m. Hamilton, Ontario time. Again, thanks everybody for participating. And I love to read all the comments from all the devotees during the chat here. We have some wonderful comments from all the devotees. Again, tomorrow is the Vijaya Dashami, the return of Lord Ramachandra to Ayodhya. It's celebrated by lighting lamps and offering nice prasadam, and the appearance day of Sri Bhagavad-pada Anandatirtha Madhvacharya. Again, Hare Krishna. Looking forward to see you tomorrow. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,